The glorious rise of the Borger Queen is here, and this silly little goober shattered my heart. Bro, what is this? I thought this was a goofy game about jiggly booblies. Why am I crying?
My mommy said no more skibidi toilets, so I left a poo-poo in her chocolate cake.
Huh?
Engaging.
Firestar Ambi is amazing. This time she's an attacker with a unique status effect, Aftershock. When an enemy has this effect and gets hit by a character besides Ambi, they will receive extra damage. She also has some dope animations. Watching her slicing and dicing, drowning the enemy in a constant barrage of metal and lightning is beautiful to look at. Potra's animations are sadly very basic, borderline boring. The heart she makes during her ultimate is nice, and I love watching her periodically attack the enemy when her unique EX/ultimate mechanic is used. Besides those two things though, she's a bit underwhelming from a visual standpoint. Good stunner though, definitely worth building. Trigger! Need I say more? I swear, her body is made out of jello. Bro, what is this? I love it. I love her animations. This close range combo with her gunblade is sick, and the poses for the sniper shots are crazy. Similar to Potra, she will periodically attack the enemy when her unique passive is activated. And bro, it is sick! Ambi, Potra, Trigger. Look at this nonsense. It's so goddamn cool. Honestly, I'm really impressed by the variety of playstyles Zenless has. Recently, we've gotten Miyabi with her 3 different charge attacks, Evelyn with her chain attacks, Astra with her singing in the middle of combat, that crazy wacko. Ambi has her Aftershock and 3 dash attacks. Potra and Trigger will attack alongside your active character. So many unique fun playstyles, and we are still in year 1. I can't even imagine how crazy year 2, let alone year 3 and beyond are going to be. Trust me, Anniversary Billy is straight up going to play like Dante. Royal Guard!
That's right. The best proxy in all of New Aerodil. Lord Phaethon.
The current event mode is pretty fun. It reminds me a lot of those old school overhead beat 'em up games like Double Dragon. It's a fun and gimmicky combat stage where a jetpack bamboo will follow you around and shoot the enemies. Every time you use an EX skill or ultimate, they'll go into overdrive and unleash damage on the enemies. At the end of each round, you can upgrade the little guy. There isn't that much going on here. It's a fairly straightforward, simple game mode, but I like it. Sadly, the Trigger shooting gallery from the trailer isn't available yet, but I'm looking forward to it. Watching Trigger's ass bounce, testing my aim and reaction time seems like a lot of fun. Bro, I'm so excited for Trigger. I've got roughly 300 summons saved up and ready to go for her and her weapon. Hopefully, I can get her early and save some summons for Vivian and the anniversary. Billy, my love! Lost Void got a nice upgrade. A new max difficulty boss, Geppetto, the Puppet Master. Alongside him, we got some new floors, combat stages, additions to existing floors, and Corin, Astra, Jane, and Evelyn got new Lost Void skills. Astra straight up has a Kamehameha blast, and Corin rides her chainsaw around like a bike. Dude, I love it. The Lost Void skills are so God damn cool. I love that more and more characters are slowly getting new skills and mechanics. Not only do underpowered characters like Billy and Corin get a second chance at relevance, the attacks themselves are varied, fun, and unique. I am a bit disappointed that all of these fun gameplay mechanics are locked behind Lost Void specifically. Don't get me wrong, I like Lost Void, it's a fun roguelike, but it would be so cool if these mechanics were actual buffs for the characters that can be used in every piece of content. Granted, characters like Astra and Miyabi don't need these buffs, but it would be great if characters like Billy and Corin were able to use their mechanics in other pieces of content. Maybe one day, who knows? Apparently, one of the new floors shows a brand new character that might be playable in the future. Personally, I haven't seen her and I also don't want to spoil what she looks like, but she's a little girl with, I think, tiger features. She's not a full-blown furry like Potra or Ben or Lycon. She's similar to Miyabi where she's a humanoid with animal features. I love the aesthetics of Geppetto's stages. Straight up looks like Hollow Zero fell into hell. Now, sadly, I have not engaged with all of Geppetto's mechanics. I have not fought the strongest version of him yet. I'm still at the early stages, and my Miyabi team is extremely powerful. So I just absolutely destroyed him. But I am looking forward to actually fighting his strong version so I can actually engage with his mechanics. Lost Void is a great roguelike mode, and I'm glad that the developers are continuously improving it, rather than doing what Star Rail does, which is creating completely new roguelike modes that progressively get worse and worse. By now, it's clear that the original Hollow Zero is dead in the water due to the developers abandoning the TV system, which is a bit disappointing, but I'm hoping they implement the big titty flower boss into Lost Void because I like the fight, it's fun. Best case scenario, they remix her fight, adding some new mechanics or gimmicks to give it a second life.
Beyond reason!
Both of you! Don't try to bribe me.
Where do I even begin with the new story chapters? Both of them were goddamn masterpieces. I don't know how they do it, but each new story is better than the previous one. The writing, like always, is a masterclass. Characterization, jokes, emotion, philosophy, action, motivation. The Hugo and Ambi stories were firing at full power. Something that I appreciate about Hugo's story is that it sets up a bunch of small, seemingly innocuous details with amazing payoff. For example, in the beginning, Hugo mentions that he's looking for a movie called Devil's Children. He mentions that it's a story where a son kills his father. The proxy thinks that it's a tragedy, but Hugo thinks it's a story of revenge. Whether or not the movie actually exists is left to interpretation. Personally, I do think the movie exists, but Hugo changed some key details because later on, we find out that Hugo killed his father out of revenge for all of the pain he went through as a child. Hugo thinks it's a story of revenge rather than a tragedy because he is putting himself in the role of the son, rather than looking at the story from an outsider's perspective. I love the reinterpretation of this seemingly unimportant conversation, and a lot of Hugo's dialogue from the start of the story undergoes the same reinterpretation. A lot of this is easy to miss if you're not actively paying attention, so the story highly encourages and rewards the player for paying attention. The story is phenomenal, and trust me, I could sit here for hours talking your ear off, but instead I'll focus on my favorite aspect, the philosophical battle between Lycon and Hugo. Lycon believes that all life is precious, taking a life is never justifiable, while Hugo believes that sometimes you must kill one in order to save the many. What I love is that the story doesn't choose a side, it simply presents both outlooks and lets you decide. Jack, Lycon's and Hugo's master, believed all life was precious and tried to teach them both the same philosophy. Lycon agreed, while Hugo didn't. And I love that Hugo stands his ground. While he respects and loves his master, he is his own person with his own beliefs. And the story doesn't say he's wrong. Sure, Jack and Lycon don't agree, but that's because of who they are as people, not because they are objectively correct. Every now and then, the game gives you dialogue choices to either agree or disagree with Hugo. Personally, I agree with Hugo's perspective, but not his actions. I agree that sometimes you must kill one to save the many, but it's clear to me that Hugo is borderline psychotic. A lot of his actions are based on hatred, pain, and sorrow, which is clearly interfering with his decision making. Killing his father is one thing. Based on the snippets we've gotten, he seems to be a complete monster. But risking the activation of these sacrifices, killing thousands, if not millions, is simply going too far. Hugo had to die. After all, sometimes you must kill one to save the many. Lycon believes that killing is never the answer. There is always a better way, another answer. This was taught to him by Jack, his master, and it's a code he tries to live by every day. Only ever incapacitating, never killing. When he founded Mockingbird alongside Hugo, he wanted it to be a force for good, to help people, and at first, they did. But slowly, Hugo started to change, and eventually, he killed dozens of people in one night. He could not stand for such needless violence and left. Victoria Housekeeping seems to be what he originally wanted Mockingbird to be. They go around helping people in various ways, whether it be small and innocuous or important quote-unquote world-saving task. Lycon is a very chivalrous, kind, hopeful, and sadly foolish man. The idea that no one deserves to die is nice on paper, but what do you do when faced with a true monster? Extreme example, but let's say someone broke into a house and proceeded to torture and murder a family. Does that person truly deserve to live? In my opinion, no. But I can appreciate the sentiment. I wish we lived in a world where no one truly deserved to die. A kind, just world. What I absolutely love about the story is that when the chips were down and the hard choices needed to be made, neither man could live up to their ideals.
I didn't do it. Because of that. Innocent people died. All because of him.
Hugo didn't kill his father. He was close, but when his greatest desire was within reach and he almost grasped it, he couldn't do it. He remembered his master and Lycon, their beliefs of a fair, just world where no one truly deserved to die. Maybe, just maybe, there was a better way, a different answer. And in that moment, his father escaped. Hugo murdered many innocents, all for naught. The monster lived to see another day. And Lycon, for all his boasting and grandstanding, was forced to kill. When the proxy's life was in danger, all his talk of finding another way, a different answer, didn't matter. He was left with two choices. Either kill Hugo, destroying your beliefs in the process, or stick to your guns and let the proxy die. And in the end, the choice was clear. Preaching your beliefs is easy, but when you're in that moment, when a choice has to be made, can you truly hold on to what matters? When faced with that moment, neither of these men could. How dare you do this to me, Borger girl? How dare you make me cry? After countless teasing, we finally got to learn more about Ambi's relationship to Soldier 11 and both of their past. And it is heartbreaking. Essentially, Ambi is just the Zenless Zone Zero version of Kiana from Honkai Impact 3rd. For those of you who played that game, she's a clone that was experimented upon and just went through horrible, horrible pain and torture. Okay, granted, Kiana didn't go through torture, but, you know, her life wasn't easy. Throughout the story, Trigger is trying to convince Ambi to tell Soldier 11 the truth about what happened when all of Silver Company died. And Ambi, from 11's perspective, betrayed and left everybody. But Ambi simply refuses, because as she puts it herself, she's a coward. I love that Ambi sticks to her guns. Once the dust has settled and she has the opportunity to tell 11 the truth, she doesn't. Not only because she's a coward, but because she's worried about what would happen to 11. Will 11 try to go on some journey of revenge, inevitably dying in the process? Will the truth be too much for her, causing her to slowly spiral out of control? Or something else entirely? She doesn't know. It's easier to simply let 11 continue believing the beautiful lie rather than confronting her with the ugly truth, not only out of cowardice, but out of love. Once Trigger realizes that Ambi has put a lot of thought into the situation, she finally respects her decision and stops trying to change her mind. Trigger's love for 11 is heartwarming to see, and I'm not sure if it's a best friend bond or more of a sisterly bond, but I loved their interactions. Clearly, they are very close and share a strong bond.
But Bang Boo aren't humans. I don't have to consider that.
That's what they said too. Replicas aren't humans. So, they ordered Silver Squad to their deaths. But since you are still a survivor, they ordered me to execute you.
The scene where Ambi tells 11 the truth because she knows her memory will reset, causing her to forget, was so good. The acting, the dialogue, the emotion. A single tear fell down my supple cheek. I am curious if in the future Ambi will tell 11 the truth. Who knows, maybe if we get a new 5-star version of 11, that could be a part of her story. It was devastating to see Ambi in such an emotional state. Usually she's calm, cool, and collected. So watching her have to confront her emotions, which she clearly is not good at, is heartbreaking. I loved both sequences where she could talk to the cunning hares. Their dynamic truly feels like a found family, trying their best to be there for and support each other.
Tarnish our reputation as an honest business? Forget it. You owe me big. I'll tell you what I need from you later.
Nicole.
Fine. Forget it. Just spare me that pitiful look. Listen, Ambi. It doesn't matter who you were or what mess you've gotten into. The Cunning Hares doesn't need to be a burden to you. We don't need you to shield us, and we won't intrude when you need space. You're not the only one here with a troubled past. I just wish you'd trust me more. Otherwise, I feel like I'm a total failure.
Sorry. I won't try to justify what I did. I shouldn't have run off on my own. Once this is over, I'll answer all your questions. No more hiding anything.
That's my good girl. You're a terrible liar, you know.
I know.
Twiggy, my beautiful angel, you deserved so much better. Even after all of the pain and sorrow she went through, she put her faith in Ambi, knowing that one way or another, Ambi would save her from her suffering. I am so glad that Zenless is not afraid to tackle darker, heavier, and more serious topics, both in this and Hugo's story, but also as a whole. The philosophical battle didn't pull its punches. Miyabi had to kill her own mother as a child, so Kaku was a victim of war, and Twiggy had her organs harvested. Not only that, her grand plan was to create more silver clones in order to create an organ trafficking ring.
What are you doing, idiot? You absolute idiot! Are you insane? You're just a defect. Your body won't be able to handle it. You'll make everyone...
I want to protect you. Protect all of you. Thank you for letting me be born. I will never let you be lonely.
Even though Twiggy treated Subject A horribly, constantly belittling her by calling her stupid and worthless, in the end, A loved her, and she wouldn't allow Twiggy to die alone. Past the hate, past the anger, past the sorrow, and everything else, A saw the little girl terrified of being weak and alone again. So when death came knocking on their door, A, thankful that she was given the gift of life, cradled Twiggy with her love. A big gripe I have is when a story introduces heavier topics, but is too afraid to meaningfully explore them. This is a massive problem with gacha games specifically. Get out of here, Firefly! Leave! I'm done talking about you! Not only is Zenless not afraid to talk about these subjects, it is willing to show them. Twiggy on an operating table Lycon, piercing Hugo's heart, etc. Zenless not only respects the player by believing we are mature enough to engage with these topics, but it respects its own story by meaningfully exploring and developing its world, both the light and the dark. The fact that Zenless can do all of this while also having crazy fan service is incredibly impressive and worth praise, because none of it feels weird or out of place. The Jello people with massive asses and revealing outfits can exist in the same world as the organ trafficking and exploitative music industry, and it just works. Zenless feels like a living, breathing world filled with people from all different walks of life. With each new update, this game cements itself more and more as my favorite modern gacha game. Destiny Child still has the honor of being my favorite all-time gacha game, but Zenless might replace it at this rate. Regardless, I can't wait to see what the future holds. If you liked the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you really liked the video and want to more directly support me, consider becoming a channel member by pressing the join button. Just $5 a month. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.